Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. It is the 19th day of July. It's a Thursday. Getting my rune bag ready. Numerologically, it makes it a 1. 19, you add that together, 9 and 1 is hen, so that reduces to 1. So number 1, the number 1 is new beginnings. So maybe we're in some new beginnings today. We'll see what happens. A quick look at the news didn't show much, so anything had really changed. So we don't know, do we? I've started to pick my tomatoes. We had a really nice pasta and tomato and kale and chard and peas and mushrooms. Almost everything was from the garden. So that was cool. It's always fun, isn't it, when you can cook dinner that's, you know, either all from the garden or mostly from the garden. You know how it grew. You don't have to worry about what's on it, unless, of course, you put awful things on it to control the bugs or something. We don't do that. We actually got into, I mean, we've been organic gardening forever, you know, but we found this thing called hugelkultur, and now whenever we do a raised bed, we hugelkultur it. And what that means, it's done in areas where water is at a minimum. So, you know, in Africa, places like that, where it's real dry. And here, of course, on the high desert, it's dry. But what you do, assuming you can dig down at all, you're going to dig a hole where your bed's going to go, and you're going to put lots of debris, logs, sticks, compost, everything under the sun you can think of to put in there. And then you're going to start, you know, throwing dirt and whatnot over it. If you're going to take, you know, a few years to build it, then you're going to put all your compost, you know, all your grass clippings, all your, you know, weeding and all of that. You're going to put that on there. And you're just going to make essentially a long compost pile. But the key element is the logs and the wood in underneath. And what you do before you add that other stuff, once you get the logs on there, you add water to it. And so you're basically creating its own little ecosystem. Once those logs get really saturated, you really don't have to water as much, because it's going to hold all of it in. After about 3 years, they say the beds really, really get going, and we're at that now with some of them, and they're doing really, really well. So I don't know. I think they're onto something. So that's the only way we do beds now. So raised beds is to hugelkultur them, and you just keep adding stuff every year. You know, you add grass clippings and just everything, just to keep building them, you know, keep building them up, because over time, all of that's going to start decaying underneath, and that's where all the nutrients going to be. You look in there, if you're planting transplants or whatever, you can get down in there and you can see all the worm activity and everything. So hugelkultur is something, especially if you live in a dry area, that I recommend. It just works. So let's count 13 and see what we have today. Oh, I got a court card. Fun, fun. So I got the Knight of Cups. Now, Cups is emotions. It's ruled by the direction of west. It's our emotional presence. We see a knight. So a knight is going to be someone who's youthful, passionate. He's the prince in other decks. You can see there's a certain amount of swiftness to his emotions there. You can see his the little eagle thing on the top of his helmet. I don't know if it's just that way or if the wind is blowing, but it looks like, you know, there's motion going on there. The steed looks like he's prancing on. But it looks like maybe he's offering something conciliatory, because he's got, you know, his chalice there, his golden chalice. So what is he offering? let's take a look here. He's romantic, given that it's cups. He's typically, knights are on a quest of some kind. You know, we think about the Templar Knights and all of that, and the Holy Grail and the Templar thing. You know, some say that on October 13th, which happens to be my birthday, in 1307, that they were all killed by order of King Philip, and he got in cahoots. He wanted the money, basically. The Templar Knights were the ones that had the money, and the ones that were murdered, some of them were relatives of mine, and which is interesting. I seem to have in my ancestry people on all sides of the equation. So my 14th great grandmother, Lady Janet Douglas of Glamis Castle, she was killed for being a witch. Whether she was or not, you know, I don't know, but that's, rumor has it. That's why she, well, that wasn't a rumor. That's why she was killed. Rumor has it she haunts Glamis Castle in the clock tower, which, you know, makes sense. But it was it was either ordered by, it was a King James, not the King James that was responsible for the North Berwick witch trials and who wrote Demonology. He's a cousin. But it would be a grandfather. It was either his great-grandfather or grandfather. Mary Queen of Scots was his mother, and so it was either her father or grandfather, but I'm not sure now, because, you know, the time, I don't know how all these work. So anyway, they're about 100 years apart, so I'm not sure what he was to King James the Sixth and First, because he was both the Sixth of Scotland and the First of England. But anyway, he's the one who ordered her death. And so, you know, I have him on both sides of the equation. Whether you're talking about the Bruce family or the Stewart family, or, you know, any of that stuff that went on at that time, I have people on all sides of the equation, which is very, very odd, especially when you start looking at how these people died. Some of them died being drawn and quartered. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, literally, you know, they tie your extremities and they go with horses. And anyway, it's nutty what they did back then. But of course, you know, people are crazy now too. So anyhow, but basically we're talking about somebody here as a knight that they're ruthless, they're passionate, they're driven, they're noble, but they're people that are going to get things done. And so perhaps with the Knight of Cups, you know, obviously we need a rune to see what he's doing, but maybe there's some conciliatory things that could happen here, or maybe some chivalry. Knights are supposed to be chivalrous. Well, they aren't always, you know, but maybe. He's also a visionary, so I'm just not sure. But where are we going with this whole emotional thing today? You know, a knight is about traveling about and, you know, conquest and preservation and, you know, any number of things, really. But if you think they all died on October 13th, they didn't. So here we have Gebo. We've seen it before, balanced energy exchange. So, you know, the knight is basically, in terms of emotion here, I think what he's trying to do is achieve some balance today with others. Perhaps he's offering some kind of, wanting some kind of peaceful resolution to something. The interesting part about the steed, about the horse, you can see that the horse's head is bowed. So he's not like charging off into battle. So it's almost like, it's like, okay, I'm here. Let's meet. Let's work things out. But we'll see. You know, if it's not about what's going on in the world stage today, then maybe this is about maybe achieving some balanced energy exchange with others, you know, where nobody's trying to best the other person, you know. Maybe we're just here to try to extend friendship to others today. Or maybe just try to find some kind of balance and peace within. We can war with others. We can war with the self. So maybe today is just a day where we sit back and we just come to the center and find our own inner balance today. You know, if you're paying attention to what's going on in the world, there's a lot of things happening that we don't understand, things that probably shouldn't be. If we're all out of sorts about that, maybe today is just the day just to do some mundane things, just take care of some business and try to focus on just finding your own center. If you're not in a position to do anything about what's happening in the world, we probably should find some way to maybe find a way to look at it without it affecting everything in our day. You know, for some people, they may be losing their health insurance. For some people, they may be losing a job. For others, they may be beginning one. But what's for certain is there's a lot of unexpected stuff happening in our lives. Not all of it's good. Some of it is, but some of it isn't. And we need to find a way to get through each day to where we can still accomplish things and not spend all day on social media or, you know, trying to make our voices heard on something that maybe the only way to do that, and the real definite way to do that, is at the voting booth. Or in our case, vote by mail. I'll do it from my chair and mail it in. I'm telling you, vote by mail is the way to go. I don't understand these other places with these voting machines that are being hacked. How ridiculous is that? Just send your ballot in or drop it off. You don't need to worry about this other stuff. That just complicates everything. So we're lucky here in Oregon. So we wised up a long time ago. We don't mess with that kind of stuff. But anyway, for today, I guess, find a way to be centered and find that balance within. Try to be on an even keel as much as possible. That's so important, you know. I mean, in a way, if you take Gebo and you put it down like this, you're kind of at a crossroads, aren't you? If you set it on the floor and you look at it, you know, you're in a crossroads. You can go either way. And today, let's just stay right in that center point of peace and just focus on being happy and let the rest of it all fall away. Let's see. And so Ashley's on. She's saying, good morning. Hi, a Libra. Yeah, I'm a Libra. Definitely. And yes, it's going to be in the 90s where we are today. So I'll go in the house and outside now that my heat pump is up and running and making everything nice and cool. So, all right. Well, I think for today, that's it. You can only take so much drama, you know, and at the end of the day, you've just got to, you know, let it all go. What I like about Gebo is that you can just sit in the center and let everything happen. You don't need to be a part of it. So step aside. That's the name of my blog, you know, stepping aside. So step aside of the chaos today. Step aside the drama and just be at peace within. And go extend some love to others, like our night is trying to do here. Well, I guess that's it for today. Have a lovely day. I went ahead and, I was going to tell you, I forgot to tell you, I finished that geomancy reading that I was talking about the other day, and I posted that if you want to take a look at that on my blog, Stepping Aside. It's at imsteppingaside.com. I think that it's one probability that could happen here coming up. So I think if justice at all is present in our lives, something like that will happen. So fingers crossed. So have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow, and blessed be.